Hello, my name is Kiana Austin.
And I'm Monkevis Edwards.
And welcome to Figures of Speech.
All right, let's get right into it.
All right. Here at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, we will have Ms. Julieanna Richardson here Thursday, September the 21st at 7 o'clock p.m. in the Hathaway Fine Arts Building. This event is free to the public, so please come out and join us.
Don't forget, it's a free public lecture entitled Why Entrepreneurship Down? And I'm sure it's going to be amazing by this phenomenal woman.
Yes.
And I'll give you a little bit of a brief history about her. Miss Julieanna L. Richardson was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She is the oldest of 4 sisters, and she spent most of her early life in a mill town that's about 12 miles outside of Pittsburgh. Now, she went on to attend Interlochen Arts Academy in Michigan for high school, and in 1976, she received her Bachelor of Arts degree in Theater Arts and American Studies from Brandeis University, where she graduated magna cum laude. And in 1980, she received her GED degree from Harvard Law School.
Okay, well, let's rewind it back to where you said the Brandeis University.
Okay.
Last year, May 23rd, 2016, she gave the commencement speech.
Right.
And it was impeccable. She gave a quote from the book Invisible Men by Ralph Ellison, and she said, I quote, "When I discover who I am, I would be free." And she went on to talk with the graduates about, you have to know where you come from in order to know where you're going.
Right.
Which is a part of her, our history and her history as well, which leads us to the history makers.
Right.
So it all kind of ties itself into one.
But I want to toss it to one clip that really inspired me.
Mm-hmm.
As a production company owner, to a time when I was in my mid-40s, single with no children, and I started to think about my legacy. What was I going to leave behind? What was going to be my give back to society? What was my life going to stand for? Although I could not really articulate it at the time, I did not want any child, and I mean any child, to feel the way I felt that day when I did not know when everyone else did about my heritage and my history.
Now, I don't know about you, Miss Kiana, but when she said that in that clip that we just saw, it really touched me. Like, what legacy am I going to leave? What legacy am I going to leave? Mm-hmm. It makes you wonder, this short span of life that we live here on this earth, in this short amount of time, what footprints will we leave for the generations to come? Mm-hmm. She's very inspiring, and I honestly wish I would have grown up knowing a little bit more about her and all of the work that she's done, because she's done a lot. She's gone from practicing law to founding a production company to even finding a TV home channel. She's done a lot.
That is correct. She started the cable Shop Chicago. Shop Chicago. It's a live broadcast. It patterns the home shopping network, and you're correct. She did start that in the city of Chicago. She also started the Chicago Cable Commission, which is the city's regulation policies. So she's done a lot for the city of Chicago.
She's done a lot, period.
Yes, and she also started her own production company. Like you say, she went from law. She graduated from Harvard Law School, but she ends up with a production company. That's SCTN Teleproductions. So she changed her life in such a way that no one would ever see coming.
But her first love was theater.
Yes.
Her first love was theater.
Yes.
And she speaks, she mentions in her speech at Brandeis University how her father pretty much always wanted her to be a lawyer before she even knew what she wanted to do.
It kind of goes back to when you want to walk your own path. If something is destined for you, then that's what you're going to do. No one can stop you from your destiny. And even though she went to law school for all of those years, and it's funny because she was studying law is when she ran up on the history makers, when she was doing her research on the Harlem Renaissance. And she had an interview with, with Butterfly McQueen from Gone with the Wind, and history makers just took off from there. She was thinking to herself, oh my gosh, this is so important to our history. Someone has to record this. But we'll get back with you guys with that in just a second. Hello, I'm Kiana Austin, and we're back with Figures of Speech, where we were discussing before the break Julieanna Richardson. Before the break, we were talking about how she was inspired during her law research at Brandis University, where she was studying the Harlem Renaissance, and that's kind of how she ran up on the history makers. She was doing research with Butterfly McQueen and Lee Weeper, and she realized during those interviews that, oh my God, this is so important to history. Like, young generations should know where they came from. So that's when she got the idea that maybe I should record these, maybe I should get this and put this in history somewhere. And now we have the history makers.
Yeah, and one of our main goals in creating the history makers, which we'll get into later, is really capitalizing on the impact that many African Americans have had in the history of this nation. You know, so since 1999, the history makers have been recording African Americans' oral histories and really just putting light, giving light to the world on so many people who we don't know about. So many of, as they would say, our people who we really don't know much about.
It's so surreal because she doesn't just shine the light, like you say. She shines light on our people, but it's not. No man is too big, no man is too small. Whether it's our senator then, but now President Barack Obama, or if it would have been Murda's Dynaman, and he was the first black rodeo for, he applied for a finalist for a first black rodeo. So no matter who it is, she feels as if history should be told.
And we can't forget Harry Belafonte. Most people, now I know I'm young, but I know about Harry Belafonte. He was like one of the pioneers in African Americans breaking it into Hollywood, especially with his performance in Carmen. Have you seen Carmen?
No, sorry.
Well, she did an outstanding interview with him. You know, a lot of her interviews were entitled An Evening with so-and-so, whoever the guest was at the time, and he was one of the interviews that she conducted. And at its core, the History Makers is committed to preserving and making widely accessible the untold stories of both well-known and unsung African Americans. So we get a side of both. We get the people who are behind the scenes, who have worked hard and who have made an impact, and we get the side of many people who are out in the public, who we know about, such as Harry Belafonte or someone more recent, Barack Obama. But you know what, when I think about Miss Julieanna L. Richardson, I would categorize her as one of the unsung heroes of this nation that we really don't know much about. She has contributed a lot.
She really has.
And I'm extremely excited about this speech.
I really am. Like you say, she's one of the ones who's behind the scenes. And by her being behind the scenes, her story has never been able to be told until now. So hopefully she can share a lot with us about that.
And you know what, that also gives insight on how humble she is.
She is.
She's not out broadcasting everything that she's done. You know, she's not out trying to create an image for herself out in this world. She's just doing what she loves to do.
To better her people.
To make an impact, to leave a legacy, as she stated. So do not forget that Ms. Julieanna L. Richardson will be at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff on Thursday, September 21st at 7:00 p.m., located actually here in the Hathaway Howard Fine Arts Hathaway Howard Fine Arts Auditorium.
That's all we have for you on today.
Thank you for watching.
I'm Kiana Austin.
I'm Monkevis Edwards. And this is
Figures of Speech.
Thank you.